This is the Prep Report with Mike Hutchins and Robin Francis, an in-depth look at high school sports in the West Tennessee area. Well, we've reached the point that now it's win or go home. In fact, what you're looking at in the first round, the second round of the region, if you're able to win, you get another game. If you're able to win by the region semifinals, you get a guaranteed 2 games. Mike Hutchins, I think the one thing that we're looking at with some teams, we look back a little bit at the district. Most everything panned out as we thought, except for Region 7A girls, as Gleason pulled the big upset.
Yeah, there's some finality finally, Rob, and I think that's what all of us who are fans of the sport are interested in. You know, there should be some consequences to losing. There should be some perks and rewards for winning, and when you get to the first couple of rounds of the regional tournament, that's finally what you get. You mentioned Gleason in a huge upset, beating Greenfield 47-46 for the District 13A tournament championship at Gleason. What a wonderful run by Sean Stevenson's team. And I really thought, Robin, the home court advantage that they had by being able to host a tournament was probably what pushed them over the top. When you beat a team with 2 Miss Basketball finalists, and Tess Darby and Chloe Moore, obviously you've had a great accomplishment there. I think what I noticed is with Gleason and with Coach Stevenson, who's been at Dresden, he's been at Westview, he's been in Middle Tennessee, and he's comfortable playing the half-court game. He's comfortable playing the game in the 30s and the 40s, which I think we see a lot of that during the tournament time of the year. A lot of folks like to get up and down the floor and run and push transition during the season, and then when you value every possession in the postseason, it's those teams that are comfortable not only in the half-court game, but making that extra pass, being a little patient, being able to do some things that maybe there wasn't a lot of attention paid to during the season. I think the Lady Bulldogs have really done that and moved in the top 10, back in the top 10 in the final Associated Press rankings of the season.
And that region will actually play on Thursday night. And, in fact, they are playing with Union City at Gibson County. Gibson County surprised some folks by coming in first in region or in District 14A. Dresden and Middleton, Peabody at Gleason, and TCA at Greenfield. I think the surprise more from Gibson County is how Peabody fell off.
Well, had an injury there, Rob, and that's the big thing there. And obviously when you take one of your better players, and especially this time of the year when you've depended on them for 25, 28 games, all of a sudden you have to adjust not only your rotation but who your go-to people are. People obviously can focus on a fewer number of people on your team. And a 20-win team at Trenton there with Michael Hart, and obviously I think they were the most athletic team overall given that entire district. And they've certainly come back to the pack there and had a couple of losses there in the postseason. Gibson County, traditionally we talk about them this time of the year.
Oh, yeah.
You go back and whether you're talking about Kevin McMillan or David Russell and their state championship runs and the great runs they had before that. And we talk about Perry Bailey, and well, I guess you're really dating yourself when you're talking about folks way back then. And they've had great tradition when you talk about the feeder programs of Medina and Spring Hill and Rutherford and Dyer, and they're feeding in there in that good program, and they've had some great teams over the years. And I've always hosted a tournament there. They're going to be at home tonight against Union City, and that'll certainly be advantage for the Lady Pioneers as they try to get back to the big stage.
And there'll be a TCA for the rest of it, so everybody will be headed down to Jackson. In Region 6A, you have Collinwood at Huntington, Perry County at McKenzie, West Carroll at Summertown, and Clarksburg at Loretto. Just some interesting matchups because normally you don't see that type of travel when you come into the tournament time because you realize Summertown and basically Loretto, they're pretty hard to get to from West Tennessee and the Huntington.
As the crow flies.
Yeah, and they're going to have to go over to Lawrence County and play there.
Yeah, with the new classification, of course, Huntington, McKenzie, they were a part of District 13 Single A so many years, Robin, and then moving them now and kind of gets them away from a lot of the rural West Tennessee teams that they've been so comfortable and familiar with over the years. And, I like this Huntington squad a lot. Only one loss, that to Greenfield, midway part of the season. They're very quietly, if you can do that, won 22, 23 games. And they moved up to number 2 in the final AP poll of the season. There's some shuffling there with Clark Range losing, with Greenfield losing in their district finals, and certainly some new teams at the top of the poll. But I really like the things that this Philly team can do. They can beat you in transition, but as we talked about, they can beat you especially in the half-court game.
You mentioned Clark Range. There is no doubt that you cannot count that team out. Perennially in 1A, that's one team that you always mention.
The Clark Ranges of the world, the Pickett Counties of the world,
yep.
Robin, who won state championships in 77, 78, 79, 84 straight there, got a Miss Basketball finalist, and it means something to play basketball. Clark Range, boy, I tell you what, you can go back and talk about the Doe Garretts and the people who were just tremendous athletes that went on to star at the next level that came out of that program there. Year in and year out, there's somebody to be reckoned with.
And Region 7 AA, Obion County Central plays on Friday night. They'll be at McNary Central, long drive. And if they happen to win, they're going to have to make that drive again because the tournament is at McNary Central. Riverside at Westview, Crockett County at Southside, and Lexington will be at Dyersburg. Look out for the Dyersburg squad. They played some good basketball. Westview had to come back to beat them.
Yeah, they were up 10-3, Robin, early in that championship game last Saturday night at Obion Central against Westview. Kind of some uneasy feelings there for Westview. Deja Graves goes out with a hurt ankle. She did come back in late in the second quarter, and I thought was very instrumental in them winning. You know, these tournaments are scheduled for TCA, for McNary Central. Unless.
That's right. Well, that's true. That's
if
true.
one side sweeps the other, and if District 13 were to sweep, I think it comes back in AA. I think it'll come back to Westview. I think maybe Obion Central would have first dibs on it. I'm not sure that they would take that. Again, you have to sweep all four teams, and that would obviously cut down on the travel of the teams in District 13 AA. And in 13 Single A, there's a possibility of a sweep there. And, I think it's always fun this time of the year. You kind of pull for your brethren there just simply because you want to cut down on the travel a little bit. And, we'll see some good basketball, but it's a shame you have to drive 2 hours and 15 minutes to see two teams play that are a lot closer to that.
And Mitchell will be at Haywood in 8AA, Bolivar Central at Hamilton, Fayette-Ware, Craigmont, and Trezevant will be at Covington. Should they all match up as the seeds go, they'll go to Trezevant for the rest of the tournament. In boys, Region 7A, I think it's one of the more interesting looks in what you have. Union City was really expecting, I think, to play TCA, someone like that. All of a sudden, your old foe Humboldt's coming to town on Friday night.
Should not have to be a pregame speech on either side with the history and the tradition of both of these programs and the fact that they've had so many just landmark games. Robin, even go back to last year, the latest. Humboldt beats Union City in the district finals over at UTM by 2 points when a three-pointer by Parker Stewart bounces off the rim and denied Union City another district championship. Again, you think back to the names, not only on the benches, but on the floor of the folks who have played here in so many years. First in AA, then in Single A. The members of the same district, Robin, very familiar to see each other sometimes 3 and 4 times a year. Especially during the years where one of them made a run to the state tournament. And, boy, it should be a crackerjack of a ball game. I think it'll be a full house at Marty Cisco Gymnasium there. And, again, hey, it means something, Robin. It means something. And, you beat a Humboldt, you think, hey, I belong here. I'm good enough to play and advance and to go on to something bigger.
I think without a doubt. I mean, if you look at district versus district, obviously 14A is a little bit stronger, top to bottom, with the exploits of Peabody. We saw them step up, taking on Middleton and taking them to task in what an incredible championship game they had. And then, of course, TCA having experience, having some height. Everybody wants to look at height. Sometimes height doesn't matter if you don't have the ability. We'll be playing at a Bradford team, and credit Bradford for taking Union City to nearly the woodshed in the district championship. Played a great game, just came up a little short.
22-5 there midway in the second quarter, Robin, and I thought Bradford was very well prepared. I thought they lured Union City into a half-court game, and they found out during the regular season they couldn't beat Union City in a transition game. And John Glisson did a great job, I thought. C.J. Seidel inside, about 6'5". He really was a great presence against a Union City team that's a little bit undersized right now. And, again, they couldn't make any shots down the stretch, and Union City, give them credit. They were able to hang around. They didn't let adversity define them or cause them to panic, and they made enough shots. I thought Ben McMillan really had a nice second half. Freshman Ben McMillan for Union City. Matt McMillan, his older brother, a senior, made a couple of key shots. Sam Theobald, one basket the entire game, Robin. It was a go-ahead three-pointer with 5:29 left. He made 4 3-pointers in the semifinals against South Fulton and really is emerging as someone that you got to look out for. I thought Tyler Walton had a nice semifinal game against Union City as well. He's got a nice shooting eye. Has been a little inconsistent this year, but he's really played well come postseason time. And then Jermiah Weddle on the defensive end. Only scored 2 points, Robin, but he had the block of the game. 18 seconds left. Union City clinging to a 3-point lead. Bradford goes in for a potential layup that would have cut it to 1. He has a rejection, then makes 2 free throws to seal the game.
Who coaches the McMillan boys at home?
Paige, I don't care what Kevin says. Paige coaches the McMillan boys at home. And we're all thankful. For
Kevin
that.
says a lot, but he doesn't quite get it there. You have South Fulton at Peabody, Greenfield at Middleton, and TCA at Bradford as well. So there'll be some really fun games in the first round on Friday night.
You're exactly right. It's South Fulton, Robin, playing really well right now.
They are.
Won 8 of their last 12 after an 0-6 start. Played really well against Dresden and in getting to the district semifinals, and then upset Greenfield in the consolation game, off to a 13-0 start there. I thought Deshaun Bradshaw really bounced back from a poor effort in the semifinals with 13 in the finals. Jalen Scott had 9 of his 13 in the fourth quarter. And Carter Hodges has really been steady all year for South Fulton, made three three-pointers in that consolation game. And it's a South Fulton team now that will play its former coach, Robin.
Yeah.
How about that? Playing Wes Miller in the region quarterfinals on Friday night, and certainly that'll be a good one to watch.
That's going to be fun, and that'll be a packed house as well. So we're looking at big crowds. Region 8A boys, we have to pay attention to that. Westwood at Douglas, possibly the best team in 1A. That's what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, ranked number 1 in the state, and I think anytime you see teams from Memphis, you know they're going to be tested night in and night out during the regular season. Have only one loss this part of the season, you know it's a quality squad.
Yeah, Manassas at Fairleigh, MAHS at Dubois, and Power Center at MASE. I wanted to play for Power Center. That'd been fun. Region 6A, boys will have Collinwood at McKenzie, you have West Carroll at Summertown, Clarksburg at Loretto, Wayne County at Huntington. This McKenzie and Huntington rivalry has really come into its own in the last few weeks.
It's not just for football and baseball anymore, Robin. I tell you what, when they get together, they get after each other. And Huntington, I think, has really played well in the big games this season. I think they're a team to watch.
Also in Region 7AA, you have Lexington at Crockett County. South Gibson will be at McNairy Central. Milan at Southside. Milan pulled the big upset in 13AA and taking out Westview to move on. And so you have Northside at Dyersburg as well. This Dyersburg club ranked into the top 5 in AA, and we'll see if they can continue their success.
Had their 22-game win streak snapped, Robin, in the district finals when Crockett County scored late. Our buddy Jordan Branch down there powers for a layup with about 10 seconds to go and gets them the win there. And it's a Dyersburg squad start out 0-3, won 22 straight. Now they've lost one. We'll see how they react going on to the regional tournament.
And that's the big thing. How do you react? And you have a little time off here, and you got to get ready for it. And the next thing you know, as soon as it starts, you're going 90-0.
Yeah, it's do or die, as we talked about. And again, I think there's always that little sense of comfort that, hey, if we lose tonight, we've got 2 more to play. There's no sense of urgency. We're to the level right now to where it's win or go home.
You've been listening to The Prep Report with Robin Francis and Mike Hutchins. Listen each week as Robin and Mike bring you exclusive information on what's going on in West Tennessee high school sports. For sponsorship information, call 731-446-7496.